G'day. Well, you've heard the expression, careful, the wheels will fall off. One of them actually did, cause all sorts of a drama. Now apparently it might have been able to be prevented. So stick with the video, and somewhere in the video right near the end I will tell you how you can probably prevent it. I'll also talk about some of the spares well worth taking, because if you get yourself in this situation, it's really good that you can have all the spares for the tow truck drivers, whoever can bolt it back on again. Anywho, for another adventure, let's go. Hi team, sorry about the flies. Now I've spent the whole day trying to catch up, so I've got at least one video ahead that you can watch during Christmas. So if I can jump ahead, that's fine. I've been in the caravan all day. I've just walked around the other side of the caravan and you are not going to believe what I've seen. It must have happened this morning, rather, when I pulled in, about probably 9:30 in the morning. It wasn't dark, there wasn't any dramas, the car and the caravan were running fine. I drove over a bit of couple of bumpy sections in the track when I came in. And what's obviously happened, when I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, maybe I was having a snooze and a truck sideswiped me or something, but I don't think so. What I think has happened is the entire wheel has sheared off, leaving one wheel stud. The wheel's gone bush and I don't know what damage. Kind of good news is what can happen sometimes when the wheel goes like that, don't forget it's dual axle. When the wheel goes like that, certainly on a single, what can happen is the axle and the brake and all of that mechanism can bounce down and then come up and literally rip the guts out of the side of the caravan. I have got some damage. Definitely mucked up the brakes, because when I spin the wheel, something's not right in there. Looks as though the springs are still holding. Done a little bit of cosmetic damage on the side. But it looks like another tow truck. Where to, I don't know. I think I'm about 500 kilometres from Adelaide and about 1,000 kilometres from Alice Springs, so I don't know what's going to happen. But seriously. Somewhat exhausting, but I'll get through it, and I guess you'll have a new story to read about and think about, and I'll need to just get on the phone and get all the people involved. Oh, never mind. I'll get through it. Just to give you a heads up, so I contacted the insurance company. Strange. I contacted them, they said no problems. What you need to do is you need to contact and go and find a tow truck and get a quote for them, and go and find a mechanic who locally, or someone nearby, or maybe down in somewhere, who can maybe do a quote on it, and then we'll have a look in the morning and just see what's happening. Strange insurance. All right, so I'm going to go to the pub now, see if I can find a mechanic who can repair caravans, and if not, a tow truck who can tow me somewhere. Now I know it's quite amusing seeing a population so low, but I spoke to one of the locals, and it turns out the actual population is 3. I kid you not, 3 permanent residents. They do have an influx of staff there to help them out during their season, but permanently there's 3 people that live in that town. There's one guy, Peter, and his wife, and another resident. I'll tell you that because it's part of the backstory. So with it, really nothing else to do, I phoned up the guy from Coober Pedy who I'd had the car serviced with the day before, which was fantastic. He did a really good job, very, very pleased. So I phoned him up and told him my plight and said, is there any chance if I somehow get the car up to you, would you be able to fix up the wheels and fix up the damage and so on and so forth? He said, look, I probably could, but you're better off going towards Adelaide. But he said, hold off. He said, I've got a mate who lives in Glendambo, which is where I was stuck. He said, I'll get him to come over and have a look, see if he can help you. Anywho, 9:30 the following morning, knock on the door. There's Peter, an 82-year-old, one of the residents of that little village. He had a look at it and he said, yeah, look, take off the hub, bring it over to my place and we'll have a look. And I'll show you the rest of the story now. But don't forget, population of 3, one guy's 82 and he's the guy that's going to help me.
Actually, it's good because they're coming off real easy.
They are, aren't they?
Just a pity those bearings are different. See the shiny patch?
Yeah.
That's what actuates your
Electric brakes. Yep.
If they're above, it'll grab the brakes and
You're right.
rip them apart.
There's noise everywhere, but just want to tell you a couple of things that Peter's done. These are the old dead ones. So he's taken the new ones, but they were just a bit too deep, so he's actually grinding away around the side so they'll slip into that hole a bit and then just taking a bit off the top. Talking. And then when he puts it in, you can see in a minute, it's like, I'd lose a hand for sure. I'd be off to the hospital on the first bolt, but basically what he's doing is he's putting this above the new one there, puts it in the hole and then slams it with a with this.
Hopefully they're all straight. By putting that nut on backwards like that,
Yep.
the amount of straightness is usually corrected. Now, do you reckon your nuts will fit?
Well, I lost the nuts, the whole wheel went.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, 6 of these will do.
Well, I don't care so long as it works.
Have you got a spare?
Spare wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, split the pins in. Now I pull that up. We give it a bit of a nudge with this thing. Yep. Yep. Then I think the only thing that goes on now is a cap would be good. Then the wheel, I guess. Here's a little trick I just worked out. I'm sure everyone knows it, but just for those who don't. When you're putting the wheel nuts back on, sometimes you can, I'll take this one off to show you. So you're putting your wheel nuts on, again, do it diagonally, so that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. So they're always, when you're pulling it, you're not buckling anything up. Now the other thing I've just noticed just now, after all the years I've been doing this, is wait till it's going on to the wheel stud easily. So that's fine, you can see that's spinning around easily. Then what you can do is, as you're turning the wheel, doesn't matter which way, you'll find it, see at the moment it's hard to turn, hard to tighten, hard to tighten, hard to tighten. Now it's suddenly got looser. So you take it to its loosest, because what I must admit, what I used to do, when it wasn't quite right, I'd just get the spanner to, eventually it would get its way in, which is obviously not good for the wheel studs or for the nuts. Okay, finger tight, they all look as though they're sort of pretty balanced. And now I'll get the spanner onto it, the wheel brace, and then I'll lower it and tighten it up. And I'll use my new torque wrench, 90 psi, according to Peter. Thank you. Okay, now down goes the jack. There's an answer someone will have. Should you, when you put the jack away, should you let all the pressure out or leave it tight? I've just left it tight, hopefully that's right. Job finished. Yes, it's almost Christmas. Woohoo! Father Christmas, yahoo! A couple of things before I wrap up this video. I just want to say, some people say, wow, the guy's unbelievably unlucky. Well, am I unlucky? Yes, the incident did happen and it might happen to you. And I think I have a solution to probably prevent it. Now, to prevent it, I would, apparently what can happen is, especially with the tandem wheels, when you do a U-turn on quite a skinny road, main road, what can happen is, as you're turning quite a sharp turn, you put massive stress on one axle while the other axle stands still. So the other one's going around there and this one's just grinding its way around. Allegedly, that's probably how mine happened. And how did I know it happened? Well, I was about 100 kilometres out of that town, driving along, everything was going fine, and suddenly I felt a little tug on the steering wheel. Now, I grabbed the steering a little bit harder and just in case I need to correct anything. Nothing was fine. So it turned out, I thought there was just a bit of fuel, muck fuel going through the system. I thought, oh, if that happens again, I'm pulling over to see what the problem is with the fuel. So I concentrated for 15 to 20 minutes. It didn't happen again. So I let it ride at that. Now, when I finally stopped, I didn't think to look at anything. And as I said to you earlier on, got out my van after being 9 hours editing on the video, come round and found the problem with the wheel. So if you can, try not to do a real sharp turn or U-turn on the bitumen. Gravel and all that sort of stuff is fine. Obviously make your turns as less aggressive, or drive forward and reverse back and do a 3.8 point turn, that's fine. But if you can, try and get out of that situation just in case. Spares you should take with you some spare wheel nuts, some spare wheel studs, a dust cover, and obviously a couple of tools, at least a couple of tools that can get you in and out of that situation. That would be handy. Yeah, so I was lucky. The other thing I was lucky with, that wheel came off and sheared off at, for my guess, it probably sheared off at about 100 kilometres an hour or a little less. Even if it was 80 kilometres an hour, was on the driver's side. So if I had been in any sort of traffic, which was a really quiet day, there wasn't many cars and trucks coming the other way, but if I had been in that situation, the wheel could have come off, caused all sorts of problems to someone else coming the other way. So yeah, I was lucky. Anywho, if you found the video helpful, useful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, it's Christmas time. I would love that Christmas present for you to subscribe to my channel. And if you think it's worth sharing, that too would be great. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. Until next time, this is Paul Wheel Drive, signing off.